Hello there, namaste. So I just watched The Man from Nowhere, and honestly, I think I've seen it before, but at the same time, I don't think I've seen it before. Who knows? So this is one of those wolfing cub stories where it's basically a man with a mysterious past ends up forming an attachment with someone, and normally it's someone weaker with them, normally a child, that they kind of get a nurturing kind of protective vibe for, even though they're more hard and don't want to show it. But it starts off with basically a criminal element who's the cops are trying to bust a deal as these people are trying to take, I believe it's sneak heroin into Korea. That's their goal, only for it to be stolen by one of the dancer ladies. And then it goes to basically the main character of the story, who is basically a pawn shop owner. And the pawn shop owner basically goes to, I'm saying basically too much, sorry. He goes, returns home, and the girl who he ends up developing an attachment for happens to be hiding in the corner. She's a thief. Apparently you find out her mother is like a heroin addict. She has multitude of problems, complains to her daughter all the time, calling her daughter trash, garbage, telling her she's useless, worthless, because she'd have a better life without her child, and it's kind of sad. And she basically forms, I keep saying that word, she forms an attachment with the pawn shop owner. Turns out that the criminals find out that she took it. They take the mother, they take the daughter, and they try to get the bag that she sold to the pawn shop owner to hide the heroin, and the whole thing falls out from there because he finds out that they have the girl. If you've seen the Man on Fire, if you've seen, well, most of I forgot what it's called. Parker? Is it Parker? The Jason Statham movie where he's protecting the girl. There's plenty of movies like this. There are plenty of movies like this. But I enjoy this one because the way it goes about it, the way they introduce the character, it works. It absolutely works because he just seems cool. He seems like one of those shy, shut-in types. And then the second action takes off, it takes off. You see a lot of things. Like the very end is where you see the majority of the action. How I like how this is done is the action is done kind of off screen. So the first time the guy actually takes someone out, he's off camera. All you see is the criminals in the van as the glass shatters behind him. That was like one of the best things. It's like, oh, you see it. You hear the audio when people are like using knives and things like that. That is so impactful because it shows the power of showing a visual first and then cutting away and just using audio so your mind places what happens. That is so much more powerful, and it worked because without using what Joker said, when you go for the head, you lose feeling for everything else. Because it started out with showing you, like, let's use this scene for an example, where a criminal put a knife in a man's mouth, another criminal. There's so many criminals in this. It gets confusing, I guess. But a criminal puts a knife in another criminal's mouth, and then they cut away, and then all you do is you hear a slashing sound and some a splattering of blood, and your mind places it there. So when you get to the very end of the film, you've kind of immune to it. You're kind of used to it all. But what happens is they kidnap the mother, they kidnap the daughter. The guy ends up hunting for them, tries to track down the man, one of the bad guys, who happens to not be the main bad guy, just another bad guy who ends up getting stabbed off screen, which I just told you about. And what happens is he's driving a car that he stole that he drove there. Turns out that the girl's mother had her organs and everything harvested from her and was in the back of the car he was driving. And that is just absolutely disturbing. And I hate dark stuff. I absolutely despise dark stuff. But that just was like, whoa, absolutely whoa. And that's like 20 minutes into the film. 20 minutes into the film and they introduce that. but it goes on from there where he's constantly hunting the girl, and the cops have arrested him. He needs to break out of the police station because they found him with the corpse because they couldn't catch. He got trapped in the car because when he got in the accident, well, he was trapped against like a wall and he couldn't get himself out in time, so he couldn't run. But he ends up being charged with it, and he breaks out of jail and starts hunting everyone down for the girl. And the fact you find out that he has a mysterious past. He was an operative. He did all this stuff, and it's just absolutely entertaining to watch it all play out. I did enjoy it. It's dark because they introduce like a dark avenue of the world where the kids are being utilized. Like they call it the ant hill or something, the ant farm. And kids are being used to move drugs from place to place because who looks at kids? The kids are either sold by their families who can't pay off debts, or taken or kidnapped. And then the kids are told that they'll be able to return to their families, or they can find a new family when that happens. But what happens when they find a new family, it's when they get too old and their organs are able to be harvested at that time. And it gets absolutely dark, even to the point where they're like drugging up the kids to make them work even harder. It is insane. But of course the guy keeps going around taking out everyone, like the Man on Fire, where he's rescuing everyone around and releasing them as needed. Yeah, but this movie I did enjoy the way it's shot, the way the narrative plays out, following each character as it goes, just for him, because the little girl ends up, forming an attachment with everyone. She seems to be one of those that has a kind heart. She's had a hard life, that when she's put in the new difficult situation, she makes a friend with the most powerful person there. One of the best fighters, just like she did when she made friends with the pawn shop owner. It's like she has an instinct to find someone who can protect her. When you think about it that way, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I recommend this movie. I absolutely do. It does have dark tendencies, but what I like about this film than like Maharaja, which I watched, which was just dark for darkness sake. Great film, but it was too dark for me. This one had a happy ending, and I understand happy endings don't always exist. They're not always there. But this one, when you have things that are so dark, you need a happy ending. And this one gave me, I should say, my happy ending. So I got, that sounded weird, didn't it? This one had a happy ending, gave me a happy ending. That just doesn't seem right. That doesn't sound right to me. But I recommend this film to people. The Man from Nowhere. It's a Korean film. If you enjoy Korean dramas, this is your thing. If you enjoyed, what's it called? Squid Games, you'd enjoy this. It's just, well, maybe not if you enjoy Korean dramas. Like the romantic dramas. If you enjoy Korean romantic dramas, this might not be your well, yeah. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. The way it ends kind of makes everything that happened before not as disgusting to take, because it is a happy ending, even though it's tragic, because it is what it is. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. I recommend this film to you. Toodles!